another episode of Speak Special People Encouraging a Kid podcast. I am your host, Barisha Bree, for this podcast, and we have again our special guest, Marcus Black, with us. And as you all know, Marcus Black, not only is he an author, he's a husband, a father, he is a motivational speaker, and he is the 2025 nominee for Cheer Choice Awards. Don't forget to go and vote for him. Welcome back to the podcast, Marcus.
Yo. What up, though? Yo, I'm excited to have another conversation, man. That was powerful. And I know that there are some people whose lives will be forever changed as a result of the conversation. So again, thank you for your heart and your passion to fight for those who sometimes have a hard time fighting for themselves.
Thank you. And all that you do, you're an advocate too, actually, and you're helping not only to encourage a certain population, but anybody. So whenever you speak, you're motivating somebody. So thank you. I want to pick back up a little bit about some things that we were talking about in the last episode, and one of them is bullying. And I want to start there, talking to you about like what was bullying for you, like in your childhood, even if you're being bullied now as an adult, that can happen, right? So let's pick up from there and talk about ways our children can go throughout their week, even if they are being bullied, which we know that they are. What can they do? What are some practical tools that they can take with them and use to help them to overcome bullying?
Absolutely. Well, number one, to anybody who has gone through that, I just basically send you like virtual hugs, right? It's hard. It's hard to navigate. And we try to act like it's not hard. We try to act like we don't care. And honestly, the best thing you can do is to learn to not care. But in reality, you do care, even when you act like you don't. And I think the hardest part is seeing people who go through bullying at the hands of their friends. So it's like I'm going to be with my friends, but they think it's funny to make jokes about me, and it's really hurtful, but I just smile and laugh because I don't want them to talk about me more, or I don't want them to think that I'm not cool. So I see so many young people just smiling through it. Or sometimes we learn that if I make fun of myself, it won't be as bad. So then we got kids fighting to beat them to the punch.
Yeah.
Tear myself down. And you know how I know? Because I've been there. Like, I know what that feels like to, again, not be in control of things like where I live. You laugh at my house, you laugh at the car. I don't have no control over that. If I'm in 6th grade, 7th grade, I don't have nobody's job. I have no control over what we have. I have no control over what we have to eat, where we live, what clothes I wear. I don't have any say-so in that.
Yeah.
And this actually takes me to a real situation. I've been running a mentorship program for a lot of years in the city where we live now. And one particular day, there's one kid, and kid had been in my program for years, and it was his friends that was with him. And that day, they came in, and I mean, you could tell he was going through a tough time. There's no other way around it. Like, he had a couple outfits. He wore the same outfits all the time. And again, stuff he can't control. He got what he got. He got to wear what he got. And this particular day, his hair was a certain way, and he was not doing good that day. And when they came in my room where I hold my program, I mean, they was just acting a fool, just laughing and clowning, and all of them just going in a circle, just picking him apart, tearing him down. They was like rolling on the floor, just clowning. I mean, just acting like they had no sense. And I remember one of my team members saw it, and she heard the things they were saying. You could see his face. It was one of those, if looks could kill, like I really want to do something really bad to you right now, but I'm going to just try to hold my cool. And I remember one of my team members started crying, like, this is so cruel. Like, what are we going to do? And I just sat back, and I just let them keep going, because it was like between the bells. So my program hadn't officially started yet. When my program actually started, I called everybody to attention. Now, this is something that was easy for me to do because I normally feed the students pizza every week.
Mm.
So I'm like, okay, nobody about to eat till we have a conversation first. So that's how I got the attention. And when I stood before the room, I walked to the table of the individuals who was just clowning their friend. He's
Yeah.
sitting there with his head down, looking like borderline tears in his eyes. And I said, so y'all think that's funny? I said, you think it's funny to tear other people down?
Mm.
You think it's funny to roll around and act like you got no sense for somebody that's a friend,
Right.
quote unquote?
Right.
And they sitting there quiet. A couple of them put their head down, the whole room quiet. You could have heard a pin drop because they wasn't ready for nobody to come at them like this. Then there's always one. And one kid's like, well, actually, yeah, it is funny. And then he
Mm-hmm.
started laughing. Then a couple of them start chuckling. I was like, is it though? I said, okay, cool. I'm glad you think it's funny to laugh at other people's pain. But I said, let's play a different game. I said, y'all don't eating until y'all humor me. We gotta, so the food's sitting over
Okay,
there and they
get 'em.
lean in. I said, okay, all right, I want you to put your hand up in this room if you ever had a bad day in your life. Every hand in the room went up. I said, okay. I said, I want you to put your hand in the air if you ever had your electricity get cut off.
Mm.
Every hand in the room went up. I said, I want you to put your hand up if you ever had people outside of you, parents, cousins, siblings, talk bad to you, down on you, belittle you, and say hurtful things. Every hand in the room went up. I
Mm.
said, okay. I said, I want you to put your hand in the air if you know somebody who used to be here that's no longer here.
Mm.
Every hand in the room went up. I said, okay. I said, so what y'all just told me is that life is hard. Every single one of y'all just told me that life is hard. Life is hard and you're dealing with things that are outside of your control. So if you already know that life is hard because of things that you cannot control, why would you go out of your way to make it harder for somebody else?
Mm.
You don't know what that person is going through while you laughing and you trying to get some kicks and giggles out of your friends, but you going to act like this and then it's all cool and fun and games until you show up tomorrow and somebody that was here yesterday ain't here tomorrow.
Wow. Wow.
Now at that point, then they done. Now they like, I get it. To see the bigger picture. And that clown, the main one, stood up, and that's when he got it. And he apologized to him in front of everybody, and he apologized to them because he know. And I talked to him after. I'm like, bro, you the leader. What are you leading people to? They gonna follow you.
Mm.
It's not cool to do that to other people. And he's like, I get it now. I didn't even think about that. And I'm like, he don't get to control what he got on or how he looked when he come in here. So it's like, and I share that story as a very real example of for you, because it's twofold. This conversation is twofold. Some of y'all is the people that's causing doing the bullying.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I'm challenging you to stop, to be better than that, because you have days yourself that's not so easy. That's tough. Most bullies are bullied themselves
Oh,
at
of
home. You
course.
got
Of
parents or
course.
somebody's bullying you, so you just want to go, and that's how you take your power back. That's not cool.
And two, sometimes bully can look in the form of not having a voice.
Yeah,
So you're projecting your
absolutely.
insecurities onto someone else.
Absolutely. 100%.
So oftentimes that's a lot of our children, when they feel like they don't have a voice in their own home
Exactly.
or even in their own, peer-to-peer groups or whatever, school, they don't have a voice. And so now they're wanting to control
Somebody else.
someone else.
100%.
I was there.
Yeah.
I was there. I was a bully and I was bullied,
Yeah.
but even as a child and as an adult,
Yeah. It's a very
in a
real thing.
leadership role as an adult.
It's a very real thing.
It's a real thing.
And it's a deep conversation to have. So stop doing that if you're doing that.
Yeah.
Because that ain't going to make you feel better. And it's going to make you feel worse if you are the reason somebody decides that they can't fight no more because that was the final straw. You don't want to live with that on your conscience. I'm telling you. And then to the people who are being bullied, I need you to know that you are okay right now. Like right now, there's an affirmation that I was taught by a friend that you can say when you're in those moments where you feel like you're losing control.
Mhm.
Simple, but you can just say it again and again and it'll bring you peace. And the affirmation was, all is okay. All will be okay.
Mhm.
And all will always be okay.
All will be okay.
Yeah. All is okay.
All is okay.
All
All
will
will
be
be
okay.
okay.
And
And
all
all
will
will
always
always
be
be
okay.
okay. I love that.
And it's simple, but if you just say it in a moment, it reminds your mind that, like, you're not defined by this. This moment doesn't define you. This moment is not permanent, it's temporary.
Yeah.
This feeling that you feel that's so strong and intense will pass. And ultimately, them and they, we need to have a conversation about them and they. I've been talking about them and they all day because I'm tired of them and they.
Ooh.
You know, they said I was with them and they, and okay, I don't want to hear about them and they no more. Them and they didn't give you your purpose, and them and they can't take it away. So what
At
them
all.
and they can do is go kick rocks with no shoes. That's how I feel about them and they. Stop telling me what them and they said about you. Them and they don't define you. Them and they don't even know you. So why do you care what they gotta say? I'm not worried about. Now I have learned I don't care. If I wish you could feel the level of unconcerned I am with what other people think about me. I am already knowing I am not everybody's cup of tea. And if that's how you feel, that's fine by me. If I'm not your cup of tea, go drink some coffee. That's how I feel. And that is learning a radical self-love to know that I am enough just as I am, and you are enough just as you are. What them and they got to say and what they think about you and how that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Those people are not God. So their opinion of you doesn't matter. And if you can take that power back and not let them phase you, that's what I had to learn how to do. I was bullied crazy over things I couldn't control, clothes I had to wear, what we have, the truck my daddy picked me, all this crazy stuff. I'm like, it is what it is. I was bullied because my dad is biracial. Oh, his daddy white. Ha ha ha. Why is that funny? I don't have no control over none of that.
Mm.
And so just kids just looking for ways to get laughs and clout. And I'm like, stop. But I had to learn who I am. So you start talking what are things you can practically do. It's to figure out who you are. You're not defined by what nobody else says about you. You get to choose that part. You get to choose who you want to be in this world. You're a good person. You get to choose that. You're a kind person.
Absolutely.
Even when other people aren't kind to you, like, well, I'm tired of being kind because people take advantage of my kindness. Some people do. But I always say you reap what you sow. I read that in a very good book. You reap what you sow, not where you sow. And I think sometimes that's the mistake we make, is thinking that, well, because I was kind to them, they supposed to be kind to me. I was kind to them and they kicked me while I was down. They spit on me. Yeah, guess what? They will reap what they sow.
Mm-hmm.
And it
Mm-hmm.
ain't your job to try to make them.
Right.
You ain't even got to worry about that. Their life is already miserable as it is, going to be even more miserable. But you reap what you sow, not where you sow. Meaning, just because you reap and you sow kindness don't mean you're going to reap it from the people you're kind to. It might be other people. I try to be kind to everybody I meet. Not everybody I meet is kind back to me, but when I travel the world, I get a lot of kindness and a lot of love from people all over the world that don't even know me,
Mm-hmm.
because you
Mm-hmm.
reap what you sow. So what I mean by that is you get what you give.
Right.
And
You're talking. I
the,
love it. Keep going.
the focal point at this age is for you to not get distracted, because
Mhm.
distraction leads to destruction. If you are distracted, you will be destroyed. Distractions come in the form of social media. Them private snaps y'all getting about this person, or them group threads where they talking about these people and sending these pictures around or sending these texts about something you have no
Yes.
idea what you know. You don't have no idea what that person going through. And if you the person that's the subject of those texts, man, you think your life is over. No, it's not. This is temporary. This too shall pass. This moment is nothing. You know how many people I talked to that I went to high school with to this day? One. And I went to school with like 1,200 of them.
Wow.
Yeah. So I talked to one of them today. And even that one ain't so often. So the point is, don't be thinking of making permanent decisions based off a temporary situation.
Right.
Learn to affirm yourself. Who are you? What do you want in this life?
That's the key, to know who you are.
100% identity. Who are you?
And you're going to continue to know who you are as you continue to live.
That's a fact.
You're not going to know all of you at your age now. Every time you get older, every stage, every growth, you're learning more about yourself.
Absolutely.
I didn't recognize being a bully until adulthood, when I was in a leadership position, and I didn't get the feedback that I was a bully, but it was the consequences that came from it. As you said, it leads to destruction, right? And that's when I realized, man, it even in that subtle way, even in being in a higher position and having a team that you're leading, the way you lead, you mentioned that, matters. And didn't realize how I was affecting someone else. And this was someone else who was pregnant.
Mm.
Not that I'm putting all that on me, but to think about, her losing her baby because of stress, because of work stress, but I digest.
And I'm telling you, one of my mentors, may he rest his soul, is Nipsey Hussle. Some of y'all know who that is. If you know, you know, neighborhood Nipka. You know what I'm saying? But
Marathon.
I listened to him a lot because I learned a lot. When I was trying to find my voice and my worth in the world, he taught me a lot about understanding your worth. He taught me a lot about knowing who you are and what you bring to the table. You know, many of his lyrics talked about being a genius in a wild environment, feeling like you got something to say but no platform to say it, feeling voiceless but wanting to do something better in the world. And I listened to all these things and I learned, and it helped me become the voice that I am today. But I listened to one of his interviews and they asked him if he had any regrets in life before he passed away. Do you have any regrets of anything? He said, I would not take away a singular painful moment I ever went through,
Mm.
because that adversity and those things I went through shaped me and helped me become the leader that I am. He said, but if I could go back and change anything, the only thing I would change is the pain I caused other people.
Mm. Yes.
He said, the only thing I would take
Yes.
back is all the pain I caused other people and their families. I regret that every day of my life. I would change that part. And to have somebody I respect and admire so much talk about like wishing that you could change that, but you can't. You can't change that. So the challenge is now, before you get to the place of wishing you could take stuff back, just be better now, so that you're not in that position. Value people because people are valuable. We don't value life anymore. It's so easy to take a life or to want to take your own life because you feel like it has no value. You don't
Yeah.
realize it's the most precious gift you'll ever receive is life and time. Like your life is a gift, even when you don't feel like it. On your worst day, there's something to be grateful for. You don't realize your biggest
Absolutely.
complaint in the world right now is the answer to somebody else's prayers.
Ah, yes. You
Like,
are an answer. You are an answer to
it's a
someone's
fact.
prayers. I think about this scripture, and I'm often going to biblical scriptures when God reminds us to love God with all your heart, your mind, your soul, and to love your neighbors as yourself. That love your neighbors as yourself often happens when you love God and when you love yourself. You cannot do any of that if you don't have love for yourself, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's often where that projection or the bullying comes, because now you would need to look within and see how you're treating yourself. How are you loving yourself
Mm-hmm.
before I get to love you?
Mm. Wow. Yeah, it's not possible. I don't think it's possible to love somebody else fully or effectively if you don't love yourself. And I think that's where a lot of pain stems from, is a lack of self-love and
Yeah.
self-worth, and we're looking for external validation that you don't need.
Yeah.
My shout out to Shy Speaks. That's my girl right there, man. Shy Speaks is an incredible artist.
Mm.
She had a song that revolutionized my life, and she talked about this song, and it's called Go. And in that song, she said, I know what I want to be. I know what I want to achieve. But really, I don't know if anybody else believes.
Mm.
That's where we sit. It's not that we don't know. It's like, well, we're looking for that validation. We're looking from that external. We're looking for somebody to put a stamp of approval on us. We're looking for people to make us feel better and vital. And she's
Mm.
like, that's where so many of us find ourselves. She's like, I need me some confirmation to give me a little peace. That's what I was waiting on. But God gave me release already.
That's
God
bars.
said, and there's another line in that song where she said, "So you're waiting to exhale, surpass or exceed. You don't believe you have the affirmation that you need."
Mm.
That used to be me. I used to write it in my journal before I found that everything I needed was internal. It was already inside of me. And you looking for all this external validation and a stamp of approval and a blue check of verification. You don't need none of that. You already been verified. You was born stamped by God. You will never be more valid than you already are right now today. And you don't need nobody else's validation in order for you to step up and to be who you were created to be.
Yes. Yes.
It's already inside of you.
It's already inside of you. Man, I love this. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We're going to bring you back.
Okay.
And this is not the end. I don't know how we're going to do it, but
I'll be
this
back.
is home for you.
Yeah.
Whenever you come back the second time, it's now your home. So you can come back at any time, even if we have to do it some other kind of way than
Yeah.
in person. You're welcome
Bet.
to this.
Hey man, I'm gonna build a home studio, so whenever you back in Memphis, we have to do an episode out that way too.
Hey, we can do it. We can do it. So thank you, Marcus. Thank you for just spending your time to encourage the kids and some of the practical ways or tools that they can use just from this episode and the episode before is to, one, know who you are and know that you won't know fully who you are today. It takes time, it takes growth, it takes life experiences, all the things. And to know
Personalized affirmations.
personalized affirmation.
I don't even Google my affirmations. Like I write them myself. You tell me I'm stupid, I say no, I'm intelligent and capable of achieving anything I put my mind to. Saying affirmations daily, that's where you say nice things, positive things about yourself. That might feel so dumb in the process, but if you're willing to do it, what you don't realize is just the fact that it's coming out of your mouth, the way the brain works, it's a muscle.
Yeah.
You are sowing seeds into your subconscious that will eventually take root and grow. So even if you don't believe what you're saying right now, just say it anyway. I used to say I'm going to be one of the best speakers in the world. It made no sense. I failed public speaking in college. So I didn't believe it when I was saying it, but them roots got in there and you become what you believe. And so because I started to believe it, because my brain caused me to do different things. And now I'm one of the top speakers in the world as a result. So affirm, practice affirming yourself. That directly contradicts the lies the bullies tell you.
Ah, man. What else?
Because you can.
Because you can.
In a
Come
world that's
on.
telling you can't, they lied, and you could tell them I said it, and I am not hard to find. I'm telling you, you can. You can overcome. You can overcome a bullying. You can achieve anything you put your mind to, and you can go make your dreams come true. So go do it. Because you can. Straight
Come
like that,
on.
man. I'm in Black Speaks.
Oh, I love it. Wow. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So, children, get to this podcast. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Spotify. You can find us on Apple Podcasts. When you're on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe and like and make a comment. And also share. Hit that like button and share this to your friends. Because why? We want you to speak up, to speak out, to speak within so that you can live to live again. We always want to leave you with this. You have a number that you can call if you ever thinking about doing harm to yourself, hurting yourself. Call 988 or you can dial 911. Okay? Someone will be there to help you. Okay? This is another episode of Speak Podcast. Thank you for joining us. Until the next time.